investing and getting our finances under control so we can live the life we've always dreamed of, because that's what it's all about, living the life we've always dreamed of. So I want to talk about expense tracking. I say expense tracking is the most powerful tool in your financial toolkit. Once again, budgeting is the most important thing you can do. A written budget tells your money where to go instead of wondering where it went. Number two, expense tracking. Just writing down what you spend your money on and where you spend it. That way you get an idea of where the money's going. I say that's the most powerful tool. Why? Because expense tracking, whereas a budget tells your money where to go, expense tracking tells you where your money actually went. So expense tracking don't have to be that difficult. It's literally as easy as a little $1.50, whatever this thing costs, yearly planner. So what do? I've got to update some of this today also. So I start out, I don't know if you can really see that, but I just write down where I spent money and what I spent the money on. So that way I have it. I know the category. So like at the grocery store on January 1st, I spent $70. Oh, that was for a family gathering. I bought, instead of making a meal for it, we bought chicken for the family. And then whenever I don't spend any money, I like to keep track of those. So I put these little dollar signs here that say no spends, no spends. And then, so on the 4th, I went to Walmart and I spent $100. So that tells me groceries, most likely. Walmart, $30, and I put an F by it. So that means it was farm use. So that's a write-off. Spent $70 at Aldi's. Chuck's, $50. Chuck's is like it'd be like one of those Amazon stores, where they resell the pallets and everything, but he's got an actual physical store. So we went in there because the wife wanted to check it out. We dropped $50 in there. Qdoba to get something to eat, and I spent $45 on gas. 5th was a no spend and a workout. I haven't been working out lately, which I really need to get back into that. And then the 6th was I spent $20 at Tractor Supply and $350 at Menards. I don't remember what. Oh, bladder tank for the well. Then I had a no spend and no spend. Then I donated $20 to the church. Gas, $40. And it looks like Shell, $20, which means I probably went and bought something that was not gas related, because if it was gas, I write gas. And the reason I have all these broken down, so then when I get to the end of the month, I know exactly what I spent. I can go through and I can say, okay, for groceries this month, we spent $500 on groceries. So that way I know when I start looking at my budget again for, say, next month, I better set aside $500 for groceries. I'll know that in that week I spent $75 on gas. Here's another gas. Another 40. There's a 55, but that was farm use because that's diesel. So I put that in my truck for the farm. Some of this might have been farm write-offs also. So, but oh, hey, how's it going? Mystic Budgets, how you doing? I was just sitting there thinking about you the other day. I was like, man, I need to go see if I think I was going through a video and there was just something that popped up on there, like some astrology looking stuff. And I was like, I wonder what Mystic Budgets is up to. I should go check to see what she's doing. And then got sidetracked and forgot. So I'm glad to see you on here. I just started doing these lives again. I hadn't been doing videos in like a year, so over that. But I figured I'll do the lives every time I get a chance. So, and now I'm just sitting here Same. I was moving my bookshelf and saw your book. I bought it when you did the Amazon drop. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I was just talking to somebody. I was about the books that I wrote. I sent them to a church group, and then but I also sent them some stories that I had written about the gods, and they put them in their they added them to their homeschooling program. So I thought that was pretty cool. Why Kingston Jones? So why are you sad? Oh man, yeah, that's your best friend's moving today. Well, hopefully you can spend some time with him and help him move. You know, so at least get that little bit of time spent with him. But yeah, it was awesome that they added it to the homeschooling. So I was talking to him and he's like, the two stories I sent, he's like, they really went over well. I'm like, well, I'm in the process of writing two more. And I was like, when I get those, I'll send them to you. I was like, I still want to take them and publish them in a book form to sell. But I think if I do that, I'll just give them the proceeds of the money that I make anyways. So, but yeah, it was pretty cool. I was glad it went over. I'm glad they went over well with them. So, but back to the expense tracking. Let's see if we got anything. Nope. So back to the expense tracking here. Basically, the best thing about expense tracking is you know where you're spending your money, so you know where to tighten up. So one of the things that made me realize how powerful expense tracking was is when you have a small purchase here, a small purchase there, especially when you're at work. Like I'm a truck driver. So when I'm at work, I may stop and pick up lunch. And I was picking up lunch 3-4 times a week, maybe stopping and grabbing something for breakfast the same day. And you figure it was like, okay, $5 for breakfast, maybe $10 for, $6-7 for lunch. And it just seems like these small little amounts. Well, I got to the end of the month and I realized I had spent over $100 or close to $100 just on like lunch and breakfast. And I was like, no, that's money I can put somewhere else. And if I wasn't expense tracking, to me, it would have just been like, oh, I only spend a couple dollars here and there. Well, it ended up being $100. So Mystic Budget said, yes, if I don't pack a lunch for work, the lunch spending adds up so quick, even eating cheap fast food. Yes, it does. There's no such thing as cheap fast food anymore. I mean, you go to Burger King, just my wife and I, we go to Burger King, and I usually get the 3 for $7, and she just gets a Whopper meal, and that's going to cost you $20, What did I bring today? Oh, I had some carrot chips and some hummus. There. Oh, they're never bringing back the real dollar menus. Inflation and everything, and then plus on the fact, what's that? What was that saying? They were like, they'll charge you $10 for a Whopper. Why? Because they realize people will pay $10 for a Whopper. If you're going to pay $10 for a Whopper, and they're still selling them, why would they drop it back down to, $6-7? It just don't. It don't. It's all profits. So, but hold on one second. But yeah, it will add up. And the best thing about expense tracking, you figure out where it adds up. And you figure out where it adds up quick, and then you can adjust that in your budget. So when I was doing the I don't know if you've seen any of the other lives I put up, but EMT dispatcher on a budget. Hello. Hey, how are you doing? Man, I'm forgetting your name. And it's right there too. I want to say it started with an L. Lily, I thought it was Lily, but I was like, man, I'm not 100% certain. So, but So I did last year. I did like a finance class for guys on rehab. They were in a rehab halfway house. So I did a finance class for them, and I told them, I was like, it's funny because the first thing they ask you as soon as you come in, they're like, all right, what's a hot stock pick? And I'm like, how much money you got saved up? And they were like, oh, I live paycheck to paycheck. I barely survive. I was like, then why are you worried about a hot stock pick? You don't even have money for groceries and you want to put money in the stock market? I was like, the first thing you need to do is get your money under control. So I told them, I was like, and I said the same three things, and everyone here knows the same thing. It's budget, save, expense track, save. I said, those are the three things you need to do. Once you get those three things down, then you start investing. Excuse me. I was like, yep, yeah, exactly. Priorities come first. And that's what I taught him. I taught him, you've got the 4 walls of Dave Ramsey. And I'll say it was a 6-week course. We probably talked for, I don't know, 2 hours or so each class. And then within the second or third class, I think it was the second or third class, I showed everybody how to do a budget. They all figured out their budgets, and they started expense tracking, at least, started to. And I remember when I came back to, I think it was the second class or the third class, the guy was like, I actually had money at the end of the week. I've never had money at the end of the week. He's like, and I had money left over. And he was saving up to, there was something he wanted to do. I don't recall exactly what it was now, but he was actually setting aside money. There was something with his bank. I think he used Chime. So there was some sort of saving thing that he could do, that he could set up through it. I remember it was an online bank. So it was either, I think it was Chime or something. But anyways, he was able to take money and it would set it aside in different savings or whatever. And he was like, yeah, I actually had money at the end of the week. He's like, I can't remember the last time I had money at the end of the week. And I was like, dude, that's just from budgeting. That's just from budgeting and becoming aware of what you're spending your money on. And that's the expense tracking. You become aware of what you're spending the money on. Like, I've got a cousin, he owns a business, and it's actually a nonprofit. I love Chime. I've had it for 6 years. I'll get back to the story with my cousin in a second. But I had a guy that he sent me the link for Chime, but I never signed up for it just because I didn't. I'm with 2 credit unions that I truly enjoy. I've never had an issue with these credit unions, and just moving stuff over just kind of seems like a pain sometimes. So, but so my cousin owns a business. Well, I like $100. I do credit card hack. I have thought about starting to do the bank hacking, stuff like that. So maybe I'll have to. Do you have the link on your page? So I might actually do it. I might. That might be what I needed to get the. Oh, hey, HT, what's going on? But that might be what I needed to get, light that fire under me to go do it. I used to put it up. I'll add it again. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll go look and see one of these days. And then if I don't, get on there and just remind me that hey, go sign up for that. That way we both can get that hundo. But okay, so back to my cousin. He has a business. It's a not-for-profit. So there's a little more to it than just, and he'll take people that were in recovery, that were in drug recovery, stuff like that, and he gives them a job. And the whole point is it gives them a place to work, and they have they prioritize their well-being, getting better, staying clean, stuff like that. So that way they don't have to worry about making it to their meetings and all the different stuff they have to do because of the drug court or whatever. His company is like, that is your priority. We still got to work to keep the doors open and stuff like that, but your priority is X, Y, and Z. Well, one of the things I remember him saying was, if he sees people that are spending their money at the gas station, like if you're going to the gas station, he says, if you're going to the gas station and you're not buying gas or cigarettes, those are the only two things I expect you to buy at the gas station. If you buy anything else other than gas or cigarettes, I won't give you a raise, because he's like, I'm not trying to dictate to you how you spend your money, but I want you to learn how to spend your money wisely. I'm not telling you not to buy coffee. He said even coffee, because sometimes coffee is cheaper at the gas station. But yeah, they do. They charge a lot. And he said, I'm not telling you how to spend your money, or what to spend your money on. I'm not saying you can't buy that soda, that Mountain Dew, that whatever. He said, but be smart. Go to Meijer, go to Walmart, go to the bigger chains and get it cheaper, instead of spending, $3 on a 20 ouncer. Go to Walmart where you can spend $6 and get, 8 20 ounces or whatever, whatever they charge for it at Walmart. So his whole thing was, spend your money smart. And that's what I mean when I say to spend your money with intention. Be intentional about how you spend your money, because if you're just blowing it at the gas station, like today I had that hummus and those carrot chips for lunch, and I was like, man, well, it's a little after 12 now, at least here in Michigan. And I think, no, it's almost 1:00. So I was like, man, I didn't really bring anything to eat, because I was gonna make a sandwich yesterday. Like, I had some chicken breast, but then I opened the chicken breast and it'd been in my fridge for a while. It hadn't been open, but it was like Best Buy, the beginning of January, I think. And I'm like, well, maybe it's good. I smelt it. I was like, okay, maybe. I tasted it. I was like, I'm not sure. So I just threw it out, and it annoyed me too. I tell you what, it annoyed me, because I was just like, I'm so sick of throwing away money. It was a brand new package of chicken breast that I got from Walmart or Aldi. So it probably cost, I don't know, $4 or $5. And I was like, I basically just wadded up a $5 bill and threw it in the trash. I was so mad at myself. But let's see, what do we got? Mr. Budgets. Yep, they charge you for convenience. You get a 12-pack of Coke from the grocery store and keep it in your car. My dad used to do that and carry a little tiny ice chest in his car. Yeah, there you go. Exactly. One of the things is very similar to that. So I had stopped drinking Mountain Dew for a while, and I drink it a little bit now. See right there. And when I do drink it, I buy that big one, and it lasts me, I don't know. I bought that Saturday morning, so it's lasting me. I opened it yesterday, and then I had it today, and I think I'm only taking 1 or 2 drinks out of it. But it'll last me 2-3 days, and that's actually cheaper. It's cheaper for me to buy this 1.2 liter than it is for me to buy a 20 ounce at Dollar General. I mean, this is $1.85, and a 20 ounce is going to be what, $2, even at like Dollar General or something. But yeah, like you said, you'd keep it in his car. But what I was saying was, I switched to water, and I would buy like the Ice Mountain. I think it's the Ice Mountain brand is the one I like. And I was drinking that, and then I got to the point where I was like, why am I paying for water? I've got water for free at home. And so I started just filling up a cup, and I bring that in. I need to get back to, I was going to bring water today, but I've got some of these cranberry juices I have to drink up. So figured I'd bring that instead. Then I got another one, and might as well drink stuff that I have at home. But that's what I get too. My tap water tastes funny. Yeah, it can. Like when I first moved to my house and it was well water, I thought it kind of tasted funny also. It was hard water. There's iron in it. And we have a water softener which filters a lot of it. And then I got one of those just recently. I got we had a foster kid at our house, and she didn't like the taste of the water, so we got a filter so that she could use it, and it just screwed right onto the faucet. So then between the water softener and then that filter, I mean, I'm fine with our water. I drink the water that I have, but once she's not at our house anymore, so once she left, I just took that filter back off the sink, because nobody else really used it, just her. So, but I will say that if you got, do you have well water or city water, HT? So that could, I mean, the fact that it's city water, I know the people in the city that I'm from. I'll get on one of those Facebook groups that, it's for the city water. Yeah, so it's always going to taste funny. It's going to have like fluoride and chlorine. I cannot stand city. When we go to fair, it's city water, and I don't drink it. We will either buy jugs of water, or I've actually, like, our cattle got sick one year at the fair because of the city water. So now I've got these big blue, I don't know, 50-gallon jugs, and I'll fill those 50-gallon jugs up with water so that they drink the water from home. They don't drink city water. No, that stuff is, I tried making coffee with it one morning, or tea or something, and I was, nope, ugh, just garbage. Who we got there? A to Z budget. Oh, hey, Sean. Yeah. Well, yeah, I stopped doing videos for like a year and a half, and it was just one of those things where I was just like, this is repetitive, how many times can you say, budget, save, expense track? And it just, by the time I was editing the videos and doing all that, I was just like, I'm just putting way too much time into YouTube, and it was just, I think it's just the burnout. It was just burnout. So then here recently, I was just like, you know what? I've never done a live. Nora at the Stock Explorer, she used to be on me all the time. Do a live. And I'm like, yeah, maybe I will. So then one day I just sat down, and it was like earlier this month in January, I did my first live, and then I did another one later. This is the third one. And usually I just wait till I get somewhere at work. And if I'm sitting, like right now, I can't go pick up at this spot until it's not going to be ready for another, well, about half hour or so. So I was like, well, I'm just sitting here playing a game on my phone. And granted, the game makes me money because it's one of those arcade games for like Receipt Pal or Fetch or something like that. But I was like, man, let me just do a live. Let me sit up here, throw this up. And so I'm slowly getting back into it. My computer kind of messed up on me, so that didn't help. That I wasn't, when I was able to edit videos, I couldn't upload them. But then I was able to get that fixed. And glad you did. I miss you. Yeah, well, I will say I miss YouTube a bit also. You know, all the people I met on here, and especially when I was over on your channel the other day, Dan, and you were just moosing around. And, you know, I thought those two moose were going to fight there for a minute. Good thing it wasn't the rut. You were there with two bull moose. They can get violent. So, but no, I decided I got to try to build my stuff back up. So last year my finances always take a hit all the time. You know, I start to get stuff built up and then boom, the rug gets pulled out from underneath me. So like I had a goal last year getting, like, my emergency fund got wiped out the year before. So, and then I just let it just roll. You know, I'm like, I just let it float, even though I knew better. It's like, yeah, don't do this. You know better. But I just let it float. And then I said, okay, my goal is to get my emergency fund to, I think it was $2,500. I had it at like 1,400, and then the next thing you know, I'm fixing a van, and I'm like, but I did get the van all running, and that's a funny story. So I guess you know what happened late June. You might have commented, don't remember everyone who reached out to me. Yeah. I did see that. I'm sorry about that, Dan. That was pretty sad. So, you know, I'm glad to see you're pushing on, you know. But yeah, I did. No words for that one. That's, yeah. And the live just took a somber turn there, so, but yeah, I'm sorry. I truly am sorry for that. You know, I feel your loss. And she was a funny woman. She was a great woman. So, the Mystic Budgets. Same. Last year was a doozy for me, and it was hard to catch back up. Last year was definitely survival mode for me. Sorry to turn it somber. Oh no, Dan. No, that's no need to feel, no need to be sorry. No need to be sorry. It's a somber event. It should be somber, you know, but it should also, you should, like I tell my wife, when I pass away, I was like, I don't want everything to be somber. I want to celebrate my life, because I lived my life. Maybe I didn't do everything I wanted to do. Maybe it kind of annoys me that I don't do everything I want to do, but you know what? I'm going to live it to the fullest of what I have, and I want people to celebrate that. I want life is good. That's how I look at it. I don't believe that life is existentially bad and that I just got to wait till the next life and then everything will be great. Nope. In my opinion, everything's great here. I think the next life will, what happens to us in the next life, I think that's going to be a new adventure. And I mean, that's something else I look forward to. But hey, until then, I'm going to enjoy today. You know, we're going to enjoy today. We're going to enjoy now. And I think Kathy did that. That's what it seemed like. So, you know, especially with her gardens and going around and, you know, all that. All the videos, all the traveling, and so yeah. But like you said, so it was survival for you also. And that's how it was for me. It seemed like. So that emergency fund got whacked. So now I considered last year to be my year to rebuild, and this year's the same thing. Year to rebuild. That's what I named my year again. So I'm gonna rebuild it up. I'm gonna get that emergency fund up. I almost look at it as, so I bought a truck. I needed a truck, farm truck, to haul things around. I bought a half-ton Dodge, but it only had the 4.7 in it, which is a small V8. Didn't really haul my stuff. I found a 3/4 ton GMC Sierra diesel heavy duty for a pretty good deal. So I bought that, but I didn't want the, what do you call it? I didn't want a payment. So I got a loan and then cashed out my M1 account and used that to just, boom, pay off the loan. And I was like, I'm wondering if that was the point where things kind of went sideways for my finances, because I was like, oh, hey, Izzy. I keep pressing on and try to enjoy life. So that's all you can do, Dan. That's what we do, So what was I saying? Diesel truck, finances. I think that's where they went sideways. Okay, so, and then I just looked at it. I'm like, so is this like the God's way of pulling the rug out from underneath me because, I did something I probably shouldn't have, which was cash out an investment account to pay off the loan. But hey, I did what I wanted to do, and it was a farm use truck, so it is a business expense. So I get to write off some of it, and that's how I looked at it. I did have a plan, but I did do some good things. Talked to a financial planner, and so a friend of mine is a financial planner. Yeah, that's right. The loan was paid off, so it's not bad. That's true. Now I'll have to pay taxes on that $15K, but since most of that $15K that I pulled out for that truck went to the truck and other farm related stuff, I'm hoping that the fact that it's long-term capital gains for probably 90% of what came out of it, and then what I'm able to write off, business use, I hope they kind of even themselves out. And because I really don't want to pay into taxes. That will upset me. Lisa J. Stocks, good afternoon. Good afternoon, Lisa. So I was just talking about how I cashed out a retirement or investment account to pay off a truck loan. But yeah, so I looked at it like that. The truck's paid off. It's a good truck. I got to do some things to it. I took it up. I did a drywall job this past weekend, so I took it up to do the drywall, and of course, freezing temperatures. It's a diesel, so diesels, if you don't know much about them, when it gets cold, the fuel tends to gel up if they don't have winter additive added to it. Well, I put winter additive in it the last time I filled it up, but it was at one point when I was driving, it was negative 28 degrees Fahrenheit. So that's when I think the fuel filter started to gel up, and then I started losing power. It was, I made it to a truck stop, put some diesel 911 in it to make sure that the fuel wasn't gelling up. And I managed to make it to where I was going and then made it back. So, that was good, but oh my God, that's cold. Yeah. It was cold. It was negative 28 degrees. When I walked out that morning, I walked out and I stepped on my porch, and it was so cold outside that the wood on my porch was crackling underneath my feet. And the day before, it's 30 degrees here in Texas, and I'm over here tripping. I can't complain on my 19. Yeah, it was, I don't know what I have right now. This truck doesn't have a temperature gauge, but it's probably around 10 degrees, 10 to 20 degrees out right now. So it's way warmer than it was this weekend. But I'm telling you, negative 30 was no joke. It was chilly. I went in. I should have done a video on it because I went to feed the cows. Now, they're inside the barn, so they're out of the wind and stuff like that. That's what you call warmer. I'm from Michigan. I will be, if I were to get home tonight and it's 10 degrees outside, why are you broke at 40? Because I spend more money than I bring in sometimes. So, the whole point of my name was, but okay, let me get back to your question before I jump topics. I got to stay out of the weeds. But it's like, I'll grill. I'll go out and grill my dinner tonight. I don't care. I'm that guy that's with the snow all around the, 10 foot high, and I'm standing out there at the grill with, come on. Sorry, I had a call come in. But I'm standing out there at the grill, with snow piled 10 foot up around me. So you hit your flip flops and shorts. That is no lie. Yes, I would. When I go out and I do my chores in the morning, that when I was just saying it was negative 28 degrees, I went outside in a pair of shorts with this jacket and a hoodie on. And so the cows cattle, they have a whole bunch of hair. So they have I don't know how many layers of hair, but the underlayer, as long as the underlayer don't get cold or wet, or as long as the underlayer don't get wet, they'll be fine. So the outside of their hair, I mean, it can get long strands, and they'll have frost on them. And those cows, they just we got black cows, but you go in there, they were just ghost white because the outer edge of their fur had frost on it. And, they're just sitting there looking at you, chewing their cud. And if they're chewing their cud, it just means they're, no, poor cow. Trust me, those cows would stand out in the wind. One, they're stupid. And two, yeah, cows are dumb. But, two, they like the colder weather because, so you get a lot of chocolate milk. Yeah. Yeah, and then we had a red cow, so we were getting strawberry milk there for a while. But yeah, they'll stand out there and wind blowing, negative 30 degrees, and you wouldn't even be able to tell that it's cold because they just stand there. They've got so much. I think their core body temperature normally is anywhere from 100 and 102 degrees, and that's the average. But back to the comment before, somebody asked me, why am I 40 and broke. Well, I'm not 40 anymore. Yeah, I'm closer to 50 now. But so when I started my YouTube channel, when I first got into finances, the story behind it is, I remember I was washing dishes. I was just sitting there thinking, I'm almost 40 years old and I worked too hard to be this broke. There's got to be something more than just work paycheck to paycheck. And somehow I ended up going down a YouTube rabbit hole, and I found like the Dave Ramsey and I didn't even find Dave Ramsey. I found Jeff Rose, who is a certified financial planner. And I found his channel, and I just started binge watching everything. But the first video I watched before I found Jeff Rose, I got to backtrack because this was the most clickbaity animated video I'd ever seen. It was called 7 Habits the Rich Have That the Poor Don't Have. So obviously, being clickbait, I clicked on it. And it's what changed my life, because I was like, everything that these habits that they said they have, read books, get up early, be intentional with your money, stuff, all this different stuff. It's like, okay, so I do this, but I don't do it towards a common cause. And once I realized how to mesh it all together so that it was, working in unison, then basically my finances turned around. And I still think I'm broke. My wife doesn't seem to think so, but I mean, she's able to spend basically what she wants to spend. There's no go to the grocery store and I've got to clip coupons and make sure, I with the calculator to figure out how much we're buying, because she just gets everything she needs and we pay for it. And there's rarely a time where there's not any money, so speaking of which, I got to go pay for my propane. Otherwise, I'm going to get a late fee on that. I was supposed to make the bill up. Good thing I'm sitting here. Good thing I was sitting here thinking, good thing you asked that question. So I'll have to make up that check tonight. So take it in tomorrow. But anyways, my life got a lot easier once I started budgeting and really expense tracking. And even when I fall off the wagon, and like I said, I've been doing this for 10 years and I still fall off the wagon when it comes to my finances. I'm not perfect at it. I'm not great at it. I was just telling my wife the other day, I was like, I'm just so upset at myself because I've been doing this for how many years? I'm like, what do I have to show for it? And I'm like, really? She's like, you got all kinds of stuff. I'm like, yeah, I got all kinds of stuff, but I'm still not secure to where I want to be. But I don't think I'll ever be secure to where I want to be, because I always want that. Once I hit a level, like my 401k, I was like, man, if my 401k could hit 100 grand, that would be so awesome. So my 401k hit 100 grand and I'm just like, okay, 250 grand. That's going to be the good spot. Let me up my, I need to up my, whatchamacallit into my contribution. So I got to up my contribution into it. So it's like, because I just want to get more, and I just converted that over, or I just switched it over to a Roth. So basically everything over the 100,000 is going to be going into the Roth or whatever. I'm not sure. I have to go back and look and see how they break it down. What's the Roth? What's not? I need to talk to my financial planner, see if I can actually cash what is not, what's the traditional IRA or traditional 401k, if I can cash that out and then convert it over to a Roth, and I can't do it through the retirement company, but I want to see what she can help me do. So, because the Roth is the way to go. And when I was talking to that financial planner, he was like, dude, there's 6 or 7 retirement. It's okay to live a little. Like you said, we work too hard to be broke, but now we work hard. We can spend a little while we save. We know how to get back to it. Exactly. And I don't just blow up my finances. I'm not just like, oh, I didn't do it, therefore it doesn't matter, and then boom, I blow everything up. No, I'm still like, okay, this is my paycheck. This is what I have to do. Even if I wasn't coming on YouTube and writing it down, or even writing down my budget every week, I would still do written budgets, just because it's like, if I didn't do a written budget, or if I didn't do a budget at all, even though I knew where my money was going to be broken up and going, I just felt like things were hectic. And it was like, okay, do I have enough? Where was I putting this? This, that, and the other. Whereas I take that written budget, I look at it, boom, now I know what I'm doing. And I was still doing that. I may not have been expense tracking, but I was still intentional with my money. I wasn't just going out and spending it willy-nilly here, there, everywhere. So, but yeah, we do spend a little. So you got to enjoy it. I mean, exactly. We're better than we used to be. Exactly. That's what my wife always tells me. She's like, our life is pretty good. She's like, she works at a school, and she's like, them kids will start acting up, and she'll be like, dude, I'll knock you upside your head. And they're like, what? You can't talk to me like. She's like, I don't care about this job. She's like, you think I work here because they pay me a bunch of money? She's like, the only reason I work here is because I want to, help the kids. But she's like, the only reason I'm able to work here is because of how much, my husband makes. His dad's like I'm the major breadwinner, and she's like, I'm just here having fun, So, but it's funny. It's funny when those kids that it's like, it'll be summer vacation, and she'll see those kids, and she'll be like, you guys, you staying out of trouble? You acting right? You doing this? And I'm like, oh my God, we're not in school. Leave them alone. Let them go do whatever. And she'll be like, no, you got to be on them. And it's like, I'm like, God, these kids got to hate you. And it's like, nope, them kids do not hate her. Those kids love her. I mean, like, she gets invited to when they graduate, there's, let's see, what do we got here? Me want to join call that we do. Oh, yeah. Good luck with that, buddy. You can't join that call in your mom's basement. So we are going to, let's get rid of you. There we go. Yeah, I got to set up some of those mods or whatever. Yeah, you get those idiots. Sometimes the troll, man, you should see the trolls on some of them. The guy was, he was like, I can bench press 150 pounds with my bum. I'm like, so basically you sit on your ass all day, but morons. But yeah, I'll have to look into it and see what I can do. I just open up. Sometimes the trolls are fun. I mean, they don't bother me, but when they come on and just, act stupid, it's I look at it like, 99% of the time, it's probably some teenage kid, some teenage boy that thinks he's being funny, but they're just idiots. I also put subscribers of 5 minutes. Oh, that's a good one. I'll have to look into it and see, can I change? I don't know if I can change the settings right now. How old do you have to be in America to retire? At 67 in the UK. Well, I guess technically you can retire whenever you have the money to do it, but that's the same in the UK. But here, is it 65? 63? I think you can start 67 for full benefits, but I think you can start pulling partial benefits at like 63 or 62 and a half or something. I think. So yeah, but full benefits it's up there. And then and if you also before we get state pension, okay, 62 partial. Yep. So if you do the go in here in the US, I think if you go the full 67, any income you make, none of it goes towards your Social Security, I think. So because I know a guy that used to work, and he would work part-time here, and where I work, and he did not start drawing his Social Security till 67. And he was saying, because he had a pension and stuff like that, but I think he was saying that none of the money that he made for working all on the side and everything actually counted, towards his Social Security. Shouldn't stream and drive. Oh, I'm not driving, dude. Look, no hands. So 68 is mostly here in EU countries for actual government pension, not that 401. Yeah, the same 401, the 401k, you can start pulling it out no penalty at 59 and a half. So before you get full state pension in the UK, you have to have paid at least 35 years national insurance. Okay. I don't know what it is in the US. I don't keep up with that stuff. I always just assume that the government's not going to have any money to our governments everywhere suck. So they like spending our money faster than it comes in. Your sound sounds very crisp and clear. Probably this headset, I would hope. Exactly. Be ready to depend on yourself. That's it. 100% right there. So yeah, I don't like the thought of depending on the government. I mean, they're dumber than a bag of hammers. So Social Security would just be a little cherry on top. Exactly. But they even tell you that, it was never meant to live off of. It was just meant to be something on top of your pension, on top of your, well, now 401k, or on top of any savings that you had, saved up. So, and then I'm not 100% certain about other countries because I stopped watching like the news and politics and stuff like that, because I call it rage porn, because all it does is designed to get me mad at those people over there. It's those people that don't have the same political beliefs as me. Well, they're the reason for all your problems. And then the same way back. So it's just like, we agree on 95% of stuff. I'm not going to get mad over the 5% I will get mad over the 5% we disagree on. But the problem is when I scroll Facebook and I start to go down rabbit holes reading comments, that's when I tell myself, time to shut this off, and I will get off Facebook and I will get on YouTube, and I'll usually watch lore podcasts so that for my religion, and I'll just start learning stuff, or I'll go read a book, stuff like that. Play a game on my phone. I just get away from the rage porn. So it's I'm focused on growing my portfolio. Yeah. I seen you were doing that. I seen your video you had the other day about was it VTX and something else, I think it was. Israel is the top for retirement. 3 retirement incomes, 2 from government, 1 from the workplace. Okay, yeah, I'm not sure what theirs is. The only problem is no rage porn on my videos. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yup, all it does is piss me off. Yeah, I hear you. It's politics. I got to check this time to see if okay, I got a couple minutes. Yeah, politics will do that to you, you know. So, and then I was just going to say something. Now I can't remember where I was going with it, but the 2 from the government, it was, and 1 from the workplace. So kind of like a pension. Do they have, is it a pension, or is it a like a 401k? Because the U.S. used to have a lot of pensions, and that's basic. Like my grandpa retired with a pension, and but in what was it, mid 80s, they changed it to they changed it to the 401k. And the thing about the 401k is not so many people, they don't, it becomes something that you have to do yourself instead of just automatically getting it like a pension. So you've got to sign up for the 401k. You may not have to manage your portfolio or anything, but you've got to sign up for it. And they know that the vast majority of people do not sign up for it, which I find foolish. I find foolish that that is what they would want. Obviously, the companies don't have to pay a pension now, but then it just becomes the government. But then again, going back to the government, they don't care how much money they spend. It's not their money. They're spending somebody else's money. You know, governments don't create anything. They just take your money in the form of taxes and, you know, do whatever they want to with it. So obviously they don't care. It's way more it's way easier to spend somebody else's money than it is to spend yours. That's for sure. Who do we got? Rezel Mustafa. Hey, what's going on? Give us some advice. Okay, I'm trying to give some advice. And most in Europe is different. Yeah. Higher tax, yep, almost 36% here in Macedonia. Yeah, see, like, I pay a 15% tax rate, but by time they tax me, fee me, do all that stuff. So I'm going to assume that the 30% tax rate in Macedonia, is that your national tax rate? Does that include like municipal fees, stuff like that? So okay, so let me put it this way. Like, I'm from Michigan, and manage your 401k, don't be in any underperforming funds, and keep track of all your accounts from previous jobs. That's great. That's good advice, Lisa. Yeah. So yeah, the national income tax. Okay, so my national income tax here in the US, the bracket I'm in, I think is 15%. I can't remember what it is. Honestly, I should pay attention to this stuff, but I don't. They're gonna take the money from me regardless of whether I pay attention to it or not. So it's 15%. And then I think my state, I have to pay state taxes, 4.25%. I have local property taxes on my house because I'm a property owner, and those are however much. And those are twice a year, winter and summer. And then that just comes right out of my mortgage right now. But then, so then I have all the other little ways they tax you. So they tax whenever I have to put fuel in my car, I'm taxed on the fuel. Whenever I go get the license for my car, there's a fee for my license plate. And then they tell me, well, your license plate is so many years old. Well, now you need a new license plate. So then you got to pay for a new license plate. You pay for tags. You pay for your, pay for your driver's license. So by the time you're done paying all these fees and everything, I think the average tax rate is like 56% in the US. And honestly, that irritates me to no end because I despise taxes. I am not one of those person that's like, oh, taxes are the price we pay to live in a civilized, nation. It's like, there've been a lot of civilized nations before that weren't taxed half of their money, So I think it's just, I could live in a extremely civilized nation for a fraction of the cost of what they're charging me. That's my whole point. I'm gonna need to go to your page and learn. Oh, Lisa. Oh yeah, Lisa's. If you're talking about Lisa, her she's got a lot of good stuff on there. The chat's picking up. Property tax is a lot more than it should be. I don't disagree, Dan. They're trying to get rid of the property tax in Michigan simply because property tax is based on the size of the property, not on hypothetical value of the property. Yeah, see, ours is based on hypothetical value. They just walk in and say, oh, look, I think your house is worth $200,000, so we're going to charge you X amount for that. So, yeah, hit the like. Thanks, Lisa. Thanks for reminding everybody. So it's like, yeah, I hate the concept of property taxes. I buy my house, I pay for it, I pay for everything, and then somebody can just come along and be like, you don't own that anymore. You never owned that. Like, I told my tax lady one time, she's like, oh, you own your own house? I said, no, I rent my house. And she's like, you got a mortgage? And I'm like, yeah, don't pay your property taxes. See how much you own that house, because they will come take your house. They come take your property. I was like, that's rent. That's feudalism. I was like, yeah, taxes. I gotta stop on taxes because I'll get going. I remember we kissed at that gay bar in Atlanta last year. I'd have had to have been real drunk because I don't ever remember being in Atlanta or kissing a gay guy or being in a gay bar. In fact, the last time I was in a gay bar was quite a few years ago. And I remember the gay guy that I was hanging out with, that's my wife's friend. I was like, he's like, don't worry, they won't hit on you. And I was like, well, why not? And he's like, because they can tell you're straight. And I'm like, what, am I not good enough for the gay guys to hit on me? But, maybe you were at that bar. Who knows? But I don't remember you buying me anything. So, but now we are going to... Goodbye. So, Angel X, I agree. We don't get back enough for what we pay our taxes on. Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? So, bye, hero. Yep. Sorry. Like I say, some of the trolls are fun. Other ones are just absolute trash. It's just, I had one guy get on there and he said something about something with his it was vulgar, disgusting, and I was just like, it was before I realized you could block everything, and I'm just like, you're a sick bastard. So, but yep, I got to get going to this next stop. So it looks like I got to cut this live short. I want to thank everybody for coming on here. And, hopefully if you want to learn about some expense tracking, if you didn't catch the beginning of the video, go back and check it out. We talk about expense tracking, stuff like that. And then, the chat took us. So be careful. I enjoyed it. Yep, it was nice catching up with you also. So yeah, I'll be safe on the road. I drive nice and slow. They pay me to drive safe, so I'll do it. So all right, everybody. Y'all have a good rest of your day, and go out there and hey, make some money. So all right, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye. All right, thanks, Dan.